Hello, friends. It's Chapo.
Criminalization, more cops, more brutality by saying it's not that bad. In fact, it's fine actually. I think it's cool, and you're a pussy if you don't think this is like authentic urban grit or whatever. And that normalizes something that we should not consider normal or good or fine. It
Yeah.
is awful. It is bad. It is human misery, just unchecked in public, which is monstrously antisocial. But I get why people want to say that, because it's not like the alternative, like acknowledging it's a problem, is going to get you anywhere other than, more savage responses. Because the other force, the other political agenda has no constituency or power structure to actually advance it.
Yeah. And when you say something isn't a problem, that like the vast majority of sensible, good faith, well intentioned people would look at something like the homeless crisis and be like, yeah, it is a problem. Not
Right.
necessarily because they think that like home people who are like homeless or mentally ill are individually like evil or bad. But the problem is like when you identify something as a problem, you have the instinct to do the opposite is because like the very real assumption that when something is a problem, then like the only solutions to those problems that our society is capable of rendering are the fucking the police. I mean, like, and by the way, the police were more or less on strike for all of Budin's
Yes.
for tenure as DA. His last act as DA was to hire a U-Haul truck to like take evidence out of like a theft ring that they had prosecuted, because the cops literally wouldn't even show up to do that. He had to deputize basically office clerks in the DA's office to load up
That's
a
another thing
U-Haul
that you
truck
just
with
can't
evidence.
address in any of this commentary is, oh yeah, the police in cities in this country are completely independent political force
Yeah.
that are able to dictate their own fucking policy. And the idea that you can uh, uh like imagine them as being helpless victims of any progressive regime is crazy. They do what they want to do. So if they're not doing anything, it's because they want to. There's nothing stopping them other than them. They're part of their political project to get more amenable district attorney.
Yeah, but like I said, once you acknowledge something, especially something like homelessness as a problem, then like the instinct is to think that like, oh, like you just want to like criminalize them. But like I mean like
Yeah.
and the thing is like, yeah, like as we said, like not having enough money to have a roof over your head, or being like too mentally ill to like function in day-to-day society is not a crime, and it shouldn't be treated like a crime. But at the same time, it's like you can't just say like, oh, this is good, and people should like, it's like it's a good thing that so many people are sleeping rough and untreated for like severe mental illness or drug addiction, because yeah, like what you're talking about is just human suffering and misery. And again, any attempt to reconfigure our justice system to like, as Budin did, to kind of like deprioritize lower level crimes, will like just I think just runs into the fucking buzzsaw of just people's fucking like ambient sense of dread and insecurity,
Which the police are there to literally make worse at every opportunity.
and like I said, just mildly ironic that the great granddaughter of the guy who literally owned the state of California and the city of San Francisco is. I saw a lot of people saying, like, you may not agree with Nelly, but you truly have to understand what a beautiful piece of writing this is and how truly, deeply, authentically she is of San Francisco. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, you're of a place when you own everything. So, yeah, like, again, like, and I'll really admit, like, I don't want to see homeless people criminalized. I don't want to see them arrested. I don't want to see their possessions be, like, thrown out, or their possessions destroyed by the police, or just, like, just increasingly dehumanized. But like I would like we've talked to Josh and other people about what other like a different policy approach to that would be, but like other short of just giving them a roof over their heads, like in sort of like or SRO housing, or just a major like social investment in building homes. I don't know what the solution to any of this is, and I don't know if it's compassionate to just ignore it entirely or just be like, that's okay. I certainly don't think that whatever solution Nelly isn't proposing but is thinking of is the correct answer for it either.
Yeah, that's what's so grotesque is that you get, if you're her, you get to just sort of intimate and lay the groundwork for something that you can't say and endorse in the company that you keep socially. But somebody else who doesn't have those scruples is going to come along, and you can just breathe a sigh of relief, but tinged with regret when it happens.
All right, so that's it on Chessa. I guess the other election result of note from last night is it looks like Ugo is going to be in a runoff in November against Mitch O'Farrell. So best of luck to him with that.
The combined anti-O'Farrell vote was way over 50%, so I think he's done, because I got to figure anybody who wanted him was going to vote for him then, and the turnout will be higher in the fall, which means more renters. So I think Hugo's going to win.
All right. Well, best of luck to him. I guess, finally, my closing thought today. This is an observation I've had recently. That's for the fellas. So if you're a woman, turn off. But if you're a fella, turn up. Guys, have you noticed? Have you noticed that all women today are bi? But the trick is you got to figure out whether it's sexual or polar.
It be like that.
Am I right?
I'm distress signal. Workplace being made unsafe. Workplace being made unsafe. I'm being killed. Distress signal. Calling all forces. Calling all Warsaw Pact and NATO.
Oh dear. Yeah, I just boy, they really answered that question, though. At least the ladies who work at the Washington Post.
I stand in solidarity with the labor movement of Felicia Sodas.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's touching on, look, our boy Dave Weigel got in a little trouble. He's currently suspended from the Washington Post for retweeting, my joke. I mean, that joke was stolen from me, by the way. I said it in mixed company, and one of you stole it and tweeted it out, and then Weigel retweeted it, and now he's in deep shit.
I do want to say the actual person that tweeted it is, I mean, I really do feel bad for Dave. We're obviously biased here. We love Dave, but we hope you can also see this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But I do have to laugh. The guy he retweeted it from seems to be like a Christian comedy YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's where the best shit comes from.
Yeah, Will Menaker.
Yeah.
You already know. You already know my Christian comedy stylings.
It just really tickled me about the whole thing.
I'm sure we're not doing any Dave any favors weighing in on this right now.
Yeah, seriously.
But
it's behind the paywall.
It's paywalled.
Yeah. It's fine here, but this is a safe space. No one will be made to feel unsafe by this. But I gotta say, if you would like a better example of why sort of professional class unions are sort of deeply suspect, I mean, just look at this. I mean, where the fuck? Well, the Washington Post is a union shop. Where the fuck was his union rep grieving the shit out of this? But no, I mean, I literally saw someone respond to this, and they were like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I deal with unions all the time. Like, they acted totally appropriately. Yes, unions are there to yes, unions are there to go to bat for you and cover you even when you screw up. But they're not there for when you do something stupid. Or they shouldn't be used to protect you from the consequences of doing something. Which I'm like,
yeah, and then you look in their
difference?
bio. You look at their bio, and the unions they're associated with are like the Eaterly Union, Bevernator,
but just
the Flops Vertical.
I don't know, just the all of the language about how that retweet made people feel unsafe. It led to an unsafe working environment. Look, I mean, I'm always going to support a union over not having a union, but it's just sort of this is sort of what it breaks down in a context where your job is literally the safest thing in the world. Usually, unsafe working conditions in the context of in a factory is was your arm pulled into a fucking piece of machinery?
Yeah, it's Princess and the Pea syndrome here. It's people in newsrooms, they're not immune to the vibe shift and the bad feelings and the general sense of anxiety and unease, and they have but they have to conceptualize it abstractly because so little of it actually impacts their day-to-day life, which means that they have to see violence in the corniest fucking retweet imaginable.
It's when people's conception of what a union is and is for is basically no different than the HR department that works for management.
Right. Yeah.
You have to really ask yourself some fucking serious questions about what's in people's fucking brains. I mean, like even people like professional class people who claim to support unions or like want to belong to one. It's just like you have to wonder like what the utility of that is if this is what's in their fucking head.
I think it's very possible to be done right, but this is clearly a case of someone just associating union with good person.
Exactly.
That it's just the club for good people.
Yeah. It's like it's part of the language of like left-wing politics that has been absorbed over the past generation to like stand in for morality for people who are at the end of the day as atavistically selfish as anybody on the right. And so they will embrace unionism as a way to signal virtue, but then also to just narrowly advance themselves without any conception that like, hey, we're supposed to, be in this together and protect one another from the bosses.
Yeah. No, it's just
not sick the bosses on each other.
And you know what? Even if you have a good person versus bad person mentality, I'm sorry, like the people in management are generally bad people, and your coworkers tend to be better people. So you can just rely on that as a shorthand.
Even if you have a problem with a coworker, you should deal with it at a coworker level. You don't immediately snitch. What the hell is this?
Sorry, I'm just Vanity Fair wrote this up, and it's the headline: "Clusterfuck inside the Washington Post social media meltdown." And it says here, on Tuesday afternoon, Washington Post reporter Josh Dawsey tweeted that he was proud to work at the paper, a place filled with many terrific people who are smart and collegial. 4 minutes later, reporter Rosalind Helderman, too, tweeted that she was proud to work at the Post, which is always striving to be better than it was yesterday. 6 minutes later, another reporter, Amy Gardner, tweeted how proud she was to work at the paper, followed by other top journalists in the publication. The public outpouring of post-pride, which I'm told political reporters were urging one another to take part in, following executive editor Sally Busby's memo reiterating workplace policies and promoting collegiality among staff. The memo dropped following a few days at the Post that have been, as one reporter described it, a clusterfuck. Dave Weigel, a national political correspondent, is, as of Monday, suspended without pay for the next month after retweeting a tweet last week, which he then promptly unshared and apologized for after a colleague called him out on both the company Slack and publicly. Didn't Dave Weigel defend what's her name, Felicia Somnes, for when she tweeted something?
Yeah,
I'm sure
he did, because Dave's a principled person.
I do like all the Raymond Shaw is the kindest, bravest, warmest, nicest person I've known in my entire life, outpouring here from the Post. And also, it's like, you're the Washington Post. Like, you created the fucking like justification to go to war in Iraq.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, fuck you.
Like,
eat
that's
shit.
the thing. At the end of the day, this is not a place to seek the kind of justice that these people like are imagining. Like, it's the Empire Manufacturing Consent. It's a consent manufacturing company. That's where you're on. That's the HR department that you're dealing with.
Oh, I have a fast breaking update. Felicia Sommes has fallen.
What?
She has been fired.
What?
Are you serious?
Whoa, never mind.
Dude, the storm came. Dark Weigel happened. The storm came. Holy shit. Wow. Holy fuck, man.
He's probably taking the day to sort of levitate 3 feet off the sorry, he's probably taking the day to levitate 3 feet off the ground, eyes glowing red, listening to like a Rush album or something.
Yeah. It's tough, right, man? Like, on one hand, incredibly predictable outcome. Incredibly. On the other, I don't really feel good when anyone loses their job. On the third hand of Vishnu, when you're like trying to get someone else fired for like no reason, I don't know.
It's all pretty funny though, but like I don't know, just media unions are like it's pretty funny. I don't know. It's just it doesn't seem like things are really adding up. But hey, so hey, look, we're biased here. We like Dave. I think he's a good reporter, and he comes on the show. So best of luck to him and Felicia as well.
Bye, Felicia.
Damn. I mean, if this is what he got for that Christian YouTuber's joke, what do you think is going to happen next time he goes on the fucking show? Well, he has nothing now. People have seen.
Yeah, no, he's the God Emperor of the Washington Post at this point. He can wish people into the cornfield.
He's untouchable now. He's going to come back and just do like a full Bill Burr 40-minute set just in the newsroom.
Yeah, he is about to be the official Washington desk for Legion of Skanks.